In the modern world, career advancement and financial success are often presented as the highest measures of personal worth. Productivity is praised, wealth is admired, and comparison has become a daily habit through constant exposure to others' achievements. While ambition and material stability are not inherently harmful, an individual's inner life begins to deteriorate when career and money-related activities are driven primarily by greed and jealousy. When the pursuit of success becomes an attempt to outdo others or to endlessly accumulate more, it gradually erodes psychological balance, ethical clarity, and spiritual depth. Greed transforms work from a meaningful contribution into an obsession with possession. Instead of being a tool for survival or self-expression, money becomes an end in itself. This shift narrows the individual's identity, reducing self-worth to numbers, titles, and external validation. As desire expands without limit, satisfaction becomes impossible. Every gain generates a new hunger, and the mind remains in a state of chronic dissatisfaction. Over time, this restless striving exhausts the psyche, leading to anxiety, emptiness, and a sense of inner fragmentation. Jealousy further intensifies this inner decay. When success is measured comparatively, another person's achievement feels like a personal failure. Rather than inspiring growth, jealousy breeds resentment and insecurity. The individual becomes trapped in constant evaluation, looking outward for validation instead of inward for meaning. This mindset corrodes relationships, as others are no longer seen as companions or collaborators, but as competitors. Trust weakens, empathy fades, and isolation deepens, even in the presence of material abundance. Such a life eventually becomes self-destructive. Ethical boundaries are more easily crossed when wealth and status are treated as supreme goals. Burnout replaces fulfillment, and fear of loss replaces joy in achievement. Even when success is attained, it feels fragile and hollow, because it depends on forces outside one's control and on the approval of others. In this way, greed and jealousy do not merely distort external behavior, they destabilize the inner structure of the individual. In contrast, the evolution of the spiritual side of the psyche requires sacrifice. Sacrifice does not mean rejection of the material world, but the conscious willingness to place higher values above personal gain. It is the act of letting go, of excessive desire, of comparison, of ego-driven ambition, in order to cultivate inner freedom. Through sacrifice, the individual learns restraint, patience, and humility, which create psychological space for self-awareness and growth. Sacrifice also redirects attention inward. By relinquishing the need to constantly accumulate or compete, the mind becomes quieter and more receptive. This stillness allows deeper questions to emerge. Who am I beyond my achievements? What do I value when no one is watching? What kind of life feels truthful rather than impressive? These questions form the foundation of spiritual development, as they shift the focus from external reward to internal alignment. Moreover, sacrifice strengthens compassion and interconnectedness. When personal gain is no longer the central motive, actions can be guided by empathy, service, and responsibility. This orientation fosters a sense of purpose that is not dependent on outcomes, making the psyche more resilient and integrated. Unlike material success, spiritual growth is not diminished by sharing. It expands through generosity and understanding. Ultimately, a life dominated by greed and jealousy leads to inner decay, no matter how prosperous it appears from the outside. Career and money, when elevated above all else, can imprison the individual in endless desire and comparison. Sacrifice, on the other hand, opens the path to spiritual evolution by freeing the psyche from compulsive wanting and grounding it in meaning, awareness, and inner coherence. True growth arises not from how much one acquires, but from how much one is willing to release in pursuit of a deeper, more enduring sense of self.